Okay, we are streaming. Let's get this all set up. Is this, yeah, that's my work area, good. I'm gonna focus on it in just a moment. I'm just going to, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and tweet that I'm doing this. Yeah. Here, I've actually started drawing, so I'm going to pull that out. You can see what that is. I'll explain what's going on in just a moment, so thank you for your patience. YouTube user Skunkape live. Is that? I'm guessing at the YouTube stream name. I'm just going to check it right now. I think I got it right. I hope I got it right. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Yep, there we go. All right. All right, let's see. Is anyone in the chat yet? Oh, a bunch of folks. Hello. Let's see. There's Josiah, there's Ghost Dog, Darth Salad, and AT, also known as Software Agents Corp. Nice to see all of you. So, here, I'm going to show you something before I move forward. I went out to get pizza and a drink, a couple drinks with my girlfriend, and we brought our sketch materials. I guess you can't see that too well, but this is my loose pencil that I just did like about an hour ago. And then started to get a little more detailed. That was about like 10 minutes in. And then this was like about halfway through dinner. You can see the drinks going down in most of these shots. You can see that it's almost focusing. Not quite, huh? And I've got a cat in here with me. He's being isolated from his siblings because he's a little sick, but he's feeling all right. And then that was well, that's basically right here. So yeah, so this is about like a 40-minute sketch so far. I was having fun drawing and having a drink, having dinner, and now I'm like, well, maybe I'll keep going with it. See if it can really take form, see if I can make it look good. Looks like Wade is getting frisky with Cable. Yeah, that's Darth Salad. Oh, okay, see, Ghost Dog. And hello, Brendan. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Let's see. So I've got a kitty here first that needs to be addressed. I need to put him on the ground. Yeah. All right. Say hello to everybody. Okay, he sort of did. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, you're not feeling perfect, are you? Anyway, yeah, so I decided to sort of draw Deadpool doing like one of those sort of, you always see these moves like with female superheroes and stuff where they wrap their legs around someone and then like do a twist. It's like a pro wrestling type move. So I'm drawing him sort of jumping up onto Cable's shoulders, and I don't know, it amused me when I was in the sketch stage, so we'll see if it continues to amuse me as we move forward together. And so I've actually like never really tried to draw either one of these characters before. I would not say I am the biggest expert of either, although I definitely was reading comics, and their comics specifically, when they were originally introduced. I was a big fan of New Mutants and then X-Force, and so I read their early stuff. I know their origins and stuff like that. I know some of like their big enemies, but have I read like every big comic book run with them? No, not at all. Like I've read very little of like the Joe Kelly Deadpool run or Cable Deadpool. Like I haven't really read those comics too much. let's see. I started carrying around food kits in my passenger seat for homeless after your Chick Track video, and it makes me really happy. Thanks for the inspiration. That's so nice to hear, Josiah. Yeah, I frequently will have at least bottled water, and sometimes, depending on the time of year, I'll have like fresh pairs of socks and like hand warmers and stuff that I'll sometimes give out. So I try to do a little bit of that too. But yeah, it sort of depends on, like, you know, do I personally have enough money at any given time, and so it's not an always thing. It's a most of the time thing. But that's really nice to hear that you're doing that. I think it makes you feel good, because it's like, I think the average person does want to, like, you know, help the average person that needs help. I don't know. That's my personal belief. I think that the average person, like, empathizes and does not like to see suffering. That's what I think. So one of the few things I know is that Cable always has tons of pouches. So I just sort of leaned into that. Maybe not quite as many as Liefeld gives him, but I am giving him numerous pouches for this piece. I can at least get that right. Let's say, let's be real here. Deadpool needs more pouches. Yeah, he might. We'll see. You know, I already have a concern that because of the angle I've sort of put Deadpool at, that I'm worried that he looks kind of like too much of a thick boy. So I'm not 100% in love with this, but I do kind of like the idea still. I like the idea of it, so we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. And hope for the best. And hey, I can always just add tons of superfluous detail and trick people into thinking it's good because there's just tons of detail, right? Nothing wrong with thick pool. I love it. Thank you, Darth Salad. See, Mike Jr. is here. I fed a homeless father and son when they come into WH. I am a waiter. That's lovely. That's really nice to hear. Aldi, thank you for joining us. Dean is here and says, this is awesome. It's late here on the East Coast, I know. So heading to bed. Cannot wait to see the final product. Thanks for all you do. You don't need to thank me. I'm not doing anything. I'm just having fun, right? Something wrong with your mic. Oh, is it a little muffly? Hold on. I might have it amped up too much. Is that a little bit better at least? I do think I need a new microphone, so I apologize if it's a little much to deal with. But I did just turn it down a little because I think it was peaking. So hopefully that helps a little. Not sure how many of you might know about this, but I've got a buddy named B. Clay Moore, who's a comic book writer, and he has started his own YouTube show. It's called The Comic Book Writer, and it's kind of interesting. You know, he talks about writing for all different types of companies and what it takes, and just how the whole process works. So some of you out there might find that interesting. Yeah. Oh, okay. Aldi says that I did improve the mic some by what I did, so that's nice to hear. Hopefully this is a little bit better. So if you're watching this later when it's archived, I started drawing tonight at dinner. I took my sketch pad with me, and this is what I sort of started coming up with: is Cable versus Deadpool. And if you hear that, that's the kitty that I just patted. He's getting some medicine. He's got a problem with his ear. So we're giving him some hydrogen peroxide there. My girlfriend's in here. Want to say hi or shy? Okay, I guess you're shy. That's fine. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Is he happy to get food? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, actually, because I think that it might look a little better if I do that. So, doot.
Did you put his bed upside down on the floor?
No, I didn't touch it.
Oh, yes, you did that.
So there. All right, let's see what I can do with this hand. Hands are important. Hands are the second most expressive thing you can illustrate after the face. So, especially with Deadpool wearing a full mask, hands become extra important. And I don't necessarily think that that's my strong point or anything, but let's see what I can do here to give it at least a little bit of an interesting gesture. I hear him meowing. Let's see. What was your friend's YouTube channel again? You know what? I don't think he's put a vanity URL out. It's called The Comic Book Writer, so that might be a little tough to find. His name is B. Claymore, and his icon is a typewriter with an issue of Legends of the Dark Knight, I think, that he wrote. So sort of like you'll see a bat symbol comic book coming out of a typewriter if you give it a search. I told him he needs to give himself like a vanity URL so that people can find it more easily, but he hasn't gotten to that yet. What a dummy. But yeah, if you're curious about like sort of breaking into the industry and sort of how it works and stuff, I think that it's a really good channel to look into for stuff like that. I'm currently inking with a Pigma Sakura brush pen. It's fun. It's just fun to ink with. It's a lot like using a brush, but you don't have to keep dipping it into the ink. Now, it's not quite as good as the result you'll get with a real brush, but you have to be extra patient to use brushes, in my opinion. Anyway, I do that sometimes. What you doing, little guy?
Trying to find more food.
Oh, well, he's had enough.
Yeah.
Trying to think of where I want to focus my efforts, my energy. This will be a big fake sci-fi type of gun because that's what Cable tends to always have. I don't even know if there's ever been an on-model design for Cable and his guns. I mean, when Liefeld drew it, it looked like it was just tubes that were closer to vacuum cleaners than weapons. don't know if any artist ever sort of came up with a definitive take for what Cable's guns should look like. That would be interesting to know, actually. I really like the nice corner of YouTube that you and Hooded Cobra Commander 788 are carving out. Thank you, Josiah. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I'm glad I met Brian. He's got a lovely little channel if you're into vintage G.I. Joe. I no longer collect any of that. I don't own any G.I. Joes anymore, but I did at one time, so I really enjoy, on like a nostalgic level, getting to watch his channel, and I find he, yeah, anyway, I just really like his channel. I think it's really interesting and fun. I imagine these are sort of like magazines that he's clipped across his lower waist. That's what I'm imagining there. Anybody got any questions? If so, I'll gladly get into them. You have a question?
Yeah.
What's your question?
You said that hands are the number 2 most expressive part of the body.
Yeah, hand. Okay.
So where do butts fall?
Okay. So, if you couldn't hear that, my girlfriend just said that I had said that hands are the number 2 most expressive part of the body you can illustrate. So, where do butts fall? And I believe that butts are about the 8th most expressive thing you can illustrate after all the limbs, feet. Let's see, that gets us up to 6. The torso, and then the butt.
Torso is more expressive than the butt?
Oh yeah, because you can twist and stuff, yeah. B. Clay Moore is a little controversial? Oh, I didn't realize that he was considered controversial, Josiah. I mean, I thought that he was a pretty, just like, you know, I don't think he's... I think he's a pretty easygoing guy. I don't know. I don't know what you came across. Let's see. Software Agents Corp tells me about Cable's gun. It seems to be a guideline. Just give him a big ass gun. I will as I get there. I'm just trying to figure out what if anything I want to put on Cable's thighs. You know what? I'm going to actually switch to a technical pen for some of these interior details, because I feel like we need some line width variation here. And I want some smaller stuff here. Okay. A little quiet out there. I'll assume that's 100% my fault for not being interesting. And I don't know. I don't know what stories to tell. I always feel like if I just sort of out of nowhere just start telling a story where, like, you know, I'm name dropping someone or acting like I did something, you know, impressive, that's just sort of like bragging with no justification. Yeah. How's everybody's weekend? We're coming back. It's Monday. We finished our first day back. Anybody do anything interesting over the weekend? See friends, go to a movie, travel to a foreign country, oppose a dictatorship? Train to go into outer space? I didn't. I was thinking of going into outer space, but I just didn't. That kitty ain't going to sleep anytime soon. He's all excited to see you.
Stinky ear on everything.
As long as he doesn't rub it on me. I watched a bunch of season 2 of Jessica Jones, and personally, I am really into it. I thought that it wouldn't be as interesting to me without, some of the characters that they had in season 1, but for whatever reason, I'm just into it. I really like that show, I guess. Yeah, so it's better than Defenders. Let's see. Software Agents Corp has a question or a comment. He says, if I had James Bond-like resources, I would love to oppose a dictatorship. Those things suck, don't they? I guess we can tell that you're a real SJW, Software Agents Corp, opposing dictatorships. I mean, come on. Jeez. Dictatorships are the coolest thing around. Da, 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 da. It's fun to draw silly belts because you can make up whatever details you want and it looks okay. If you're hearing smooch sounds, my girlfriend is being extra kind to our kitty that's not feeling 100%, and he's loving it. Isn't he? Hap and Leonard Season 2 is on Netflix. I've never seen Hap and Leonard. What is it? Is it an animated show? Is it a sci-fi show? I don't know Hap and Leonard. Somebody bring this old geezer up to speed. The noise is okay. We'll forgive you this once since you've never interrupted before. Also, there's not a lot of conversation going on, and I'm too shy to just start a story out of nowhere. Let's go back up here for a minute. Are you drawing, Chrissy?
No, I'm just waiting for him to calm down so I can put medicine in his ear.
Uh-oh. All right. I think this side of Deadpool's leggings is black with like sort of a red interior, right? Again, I'm not a total expert. Well, I'll just sort of go with this and see what happens. Actually, we'll put a hint of another pouch there. That, because he's got a crotch. Let's see. Hap and Leonard, the bad guy from The Following, and Omar from The Wire. Oh, he's great. The guy that wrote Bubba Hotep. Chris, I don't know how to make a rebuttal to that without upsetting some lawyers. All right, best to keep your mouth closed there, AT. I don't want to get you in any more trouble than you're probably already in. I know you're a super sketchy character. I kid. If you stopped by because Godzilla Mendoza retweeted me, all I can say is thank you to Godzilla Mendoza. He's a swell guy, always giving me plenty of retweets, and he's got a lot of followers, so I'm always grateful for that. So if you're here because you're a fan of Godzilla, I get it. Me too. He's a nice guy. Talented kid. Oops, I keep sort of like forgetting like what's centered, so I was like drawing a little bit of shading here just for the heck of it. The Deadpool sequel is apparently not testing well. Really? Josiah says he found me through Hooded Cobra Commander. Well, that's awesome. I am also super grateful for that, because he was like the first guy to start sort of sharing links for my show and such. He's a wonderful human being. I'm serious about that. I think that Brian's fantastic. Well, who cares how it's testing? I have faith. I mean, the trailer looked fun, and I don't feel like I am asking for a lot out of Deadpool. To me, that's like a more modest type of action movie idea. I just want to see a couple, like, you know, funny one-liners, couple innovative scenes, but I don't need tons of, like, you know, CG or big stars or anything. I just want a pretty good time at that. I feel like it's got to be able to hit that bar. Well, we'll see. I'm trying to be hopeful, I guess. Some movies I'm hopeful for, and others I definitely do not get my hopes up too high for. For instance, I am not as excited about the next X-Men movie. I'm just like, nah. That one seems unlikely to be great. But we'll see. Giving him some medicine?
Yeah.
Good luck. It's good for you, guy. Apocalypse left me feeling very indifferent. Yeah, same here. Josiah says, who wants a Shang-Chi movie that is a tournament fighting movie? Sure, yeah. Lean into the fact that it was, you know, like building off of the sort of exploitation kung fu cinema of the 70s, and that it was basically like, I mean, come on. Who was the main artist for all those years? Was it Paul Gulacy? I want to say that that's who drew Shang-Chi for a really long time, and he totally drew Shang-Chi to look like Bruce Lee. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt there. So yeah, a tournament-style movie could be a lot of fun. I'm sure that there's a lot of obscure sort of martial arts characters from his books and across Marvel that they could rope into something like that. That could be fun. Then again, if you're going to do a tournament movie, I really would love to see like Iron Fist tackle the various kingdoms in addition to Kunlun. I want to see Fat Cobra and the Bride of Nine Spiders, like real versions, not sort of the knockoff versions that are like street level that they used in season 1. That would be a lot of fun. Oh, you didn't read it, Josiah. Master of Kung Fu is a surprisingly solid book, and it was because the writer was just sort of like left to his own devices, and I'm trying to remember the name. I covered him fairly recently in an episode. He wrote that book for 8 years, which is a pretty healthy run in comics, no matter what era or character you're dealing with. Why is the writer completely eluding me right now? I know I covered him recently. Oh well. I may end up filling this all in with black, this part of his costume, but I'm trying a couple different cross-hatching techniques to see if I like how any of them look for potential sort of leather type texture. I might like it, I might not, but since I've always got the fallback of just blacking it all out, I'm not like necessarily afraid of messing it up. Yeah, I guess that doesn't look that great. So I'm just gonna shift modes and pull out, no, not that brush. Where's my, there we go. It was worth a try, but I don't love how it looks. So gonna fill it in like this. Spider-Man is loaded with throwaway characters that could round out a roster. Yeah, definitely. He's got more than enough villains. They'll never touch them all. Spider-Man. So yeah, go ahead and grab the Walrus and Leapfrog and throw them into a tournament-style movie. You know what was kind of an awesome idea that would work, like tournament-style, was I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it was called Avengers Arena. And it was very much just the plot of the Japanese manga / movie Battle Royale. The supervillain Arcade kidnaps a ton of teenage superheroes and replaces them with like his robotic dummies, because he's always been amazing at creating like robots and stuff, and he creates, arenas that are designed to kill superheroes. Like usually it's called Murder World, and he goes after guys like Spider-Man and the X-Men, etc. But in this, he went after like just kids and told them like, you all have to basically kill each other, and if you don't, I'll, set off collars that'll kill all of you. And surprisingly enough, yeah, like several superheroes do kill. Several superheroes are killed off, and it's dark in a way, but it's a pretty exciting limited series. I think it was like 12 issues or something. Got characters like Darkhawk in there, and X-23, and maybe Namorito was in there. It's hard to remember now, like all the characters. Cammy from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, so I recommend it. It was good. They had Batroc and Winter Soldier. Sure. Yeah. I like Batroc, by the way. Batroc the Leaper. I think he's always a pretty entertaining villain. I guess he's never really ever had a win in the Marvel Universe, like the comics, but I still like him. He keeps coming back. He's no quitter. How's the kitty doing?
He got away. I'm waiting for him to come back.
Good luck. The tournament bad guy would be Taskmaster, huh? Yeah, Taskmaster is fantastic. But I'd love to see Taskmaster actually used sort of as a, like in the movies, as somebody that's literally training supervillains. Honestly, now that I'm thinking of it, he would have been great on something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where you could have thrown several sort of C-list villains at the team and then ultimately like uncover that, I don't know, Hydra's funding the Taskmaster. Like that's probably where he would have done best. I don't know if Taskmaster has a great look and a great set of powers, but he's never really had the backstory or character built up to make him quite worth using as a main villain in a big movie, I don't think. But I think he would be fantastic on TV or something like that. Just my 2 cents. Who cares? Shut up, old man. Just draw. Okay. Okay, kids. Take it easy. Is he still hiding?
Uh-huh.
Where?
On the other side of that chest of drawers. Under the table.
Under the table?
Yeah, on the floor.
Hey. I don't see him.
He's on the other side of the chest of drawers that's in front of your feet.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, yes, I see
Oh,
him.
you see him.
Yes.
Let's see. Software Agents Corp says, I don't know if there's a film rights issue, but I would love to see Taskmaster and Deadpool in a live-action film. Well, maybe once Disney finalizes a purchase of Fox, there won't be. But right now, Taskmaster is a Captain America villain or an Avengers villain, and Deadpool's with the X-Men stuff. So, yeah, I don't think they could team up right now. Like my camera might be just a little bit out of focus. It just doesn't quite look as sharp as I feel like it should, but maybe that's me. I don't know. Now he wants to see you.
No, he needs to be on. He's just talking.
I thought it was a done deal that Disney got it all. No, that's not done. They made the big offer, and supposedly Fox wants it, but it's something that big has a lot of approvals to get through. Like lawyers have to agree to a lot of different things, and then the government would have to say that it isn't necessarily, it doesn't form a monopoly. There might be components of Fox Studios that Disney might have to sell off to somebody else, even if they buy the whole thing. Something like that. But as of right now today, Disney doesn't own that stuff, and Fox is still moving forward with X-Men sequels and stuff on their own. We shall see where that goes, huh? Is he nervous?
Yeah, well, no, but he's hesitant.
Okay.
Because he's like purring and headbutting everything.
Yeah. It's really quiet on my stream.
How many viewers do you have?
5. Not many.
Everybody's busy doing their homework.
Yeah, everybody's doing homework tonight. And maybe I'll just end this early. We'll see. You're okay, kitty cat. He is being a real pest.
No, he just doesn't enjoy this.
Well, that's fair. You're being good to him. Let's see. Josiah says Netflix would have to partner with Universal or Viacom to have a chance at survival. Oh, if Disney goes through, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, right now Netflix is doing very well, but if Disney pulls all of its content, which they're already starting to do, and moves it all to Hulu, which they'd basically own if they get the Fox deal through, then yeah, Disney has a lot of power. They already have a lot of power. Hey, cat. Doing all right?
I finished my objective.
I got a couple more viewers. That's nice. Hello, all. Pretty quiet stream tonight, actually. So, don't know what to say.
Everybody get your kazoos out.
Yeah, everybody get your kazoos out, and let's just lean into this.
Open my triangle.
He's not mad.
He didn't like what I did.
Well, you can suck it up. You did him a solid. I don't know where this drawing's going. Brendan says, did I see Annihilation? Amazing film. No, I keep asking my girlfriend to go see it, and she keeps saying, not today. Right?
I do want to see it. I just keep getting tired.
Maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. You know, like we have Movie Pass, so it's not that it really costs us anything to see it. So hopefully we can see it before it leaves theaters, because I know it's not really it's not doing that well. It only got, I mean, it didn't even get much of a, or any, I don't think, like foreign release. So it's not getting a lot of marketing support. So I don't expect it to be in theaters for too long. I really do hope I get to see it. Big fan of sci-fi, and it looks different and unique. So I think that there's a good chance we'll get out to see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Hey, kitty. Do you want to be famous? You want to be famous? This is Little Bean, and he has a little ear infection, so he's not too happy. He's usually a real cuddlebug. Huh. What a stinky ear.
You smell his stinky ear?
Yeah, a little bit. You're famous, bud.
Nice.
Goofy little kitty. I didn't even center any of that drawing.
Oh, dear.
Every once in a while, I'll just get like lost in details, and I'll forget to like sort of adjust the drawing area of like what's on camera. Dumb.
What, the ear smell? I told you. Pretty gross.
It is. It's really gross.
I'm glad we quarantined him.
CSNG says cute. I will assume you're talking about the cat, not me or the drawing, because I think the only cute thing that's been on camera has been the little orange kitty. I'm going to clean up some of these pencil marks so that I can sort of see what I'm doing the rest of this drawing. This part's sometimes a little boring, I suppose. I really am jealous of some of my artist friends that can lay down pencil marks and it never really distracts them or anything. They just, only need a few loose guidelines before they can start inking, or if they use like a blue non-repro pencil, like just built a little different. I kind of need to see where I'm going still, and need my pencil marks for that. It's almost done. Should we leave Little Bean in here tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for stopping in, taking care of the kitty.
It was a pleasure.
Likewise. Hope I'm not too late. Hey, Milos. I'm not sure, honestly, like how much longer I'll be here. It's a fairly short stream, I suppose. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't even been going an hour, but I'd been drawing for about 40 minutes before I started. Wasn't sure if I was going to finish. A few people on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook said that I should, so I did, but then not many people bothered to actually tune in. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Just mucking about, just trying to have fun. But nice to see you, Milos. Thanks for dropping in. Always happy to see faces new and old. none of you are old, so new people and I don't even know what to call it, but I'm glad to have folks in here. Have you seen Black Panther? I saw it last week and thought it was quite good. That's from CSNG. I did. I quite liked it as well. I don't know where I'd exactly place it in my sort of like ranking. Doesn't everybody sort of rank superhero movies, or at least the Marvel Universe movies? Don't you sort of like mentally rank them? I do that with like most series, like, you know, where I put like certain James Bond movies or Star Wars movies. I can't help but like say like, you know, it's funny because, you know, I'm not necessarily like pulling up all sorts of other movies like, oh, where does this compare to Godfather and Gladiator and, you know, The Ring? You know, I'm not pulling up all sorts of random movies and like listing everything I've ever seen, but I do sort of have a mental index of like, okay, well, my favorite Marvel movie might still be like, you know, Winter Soldier, followed by Guardians of the Galaxy, and maybe Black Panther's up there. Yeah. Yeah, Miller says he ranks them too. I just always do that. Like when people like ask me how a movie in a series is, like, you know, if there was a new James Bond movie, like what was the last one, Spectre or something? You know, people are like, oh yeah, how was Spectre? And you're like, oh, well, you know, it's not necessarily as good as Skyfall and Casino Royale, but it's a lot better than, you know, Die Another Day and View to a Kill. And it's like, some people haven't even seen all those movies, but that's how I, like, do things. They're just always up there, like, doop, 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 ranked. It's more like a tier list, yeah. Josiah says, best bad guy in Black Panther. He was great villain, yeah. Killmonger was really well executed. And I honestly think that Killmonger has always been one of the more interesting villains in the comics. And I think that they slightly improved on him. Like, they gave him a very similar background, but they added, like, that he signed up for the U.S. military, and I like that because, like, they always had that he was, like, you know, super well-trained and everything, but he'd, like, supposedly sort of just trained himself, and the idea that he went into the military to get that training is a little more plausible, I think. But they still, like, mentioned things like that he went to MIT. That was straight from the comics. Like, he was always quite brilliant. Brendan asks, do I have any plans for drawing my own comics? No, I don't think so. You know, I wish. I don't think I'm quite good enough, so that's probably not likely to happen. I mean, you never know. Maybe if, like, the right project comes along. I do take on the occasional sort of, what would you say? Like, I take on the occasional, like, freelance type drawing thing for, like, you know, several pages. But that's mostly been for, like, educational comics or indie stuff. I don't necessarily think, you know, like, obviously, like, what I'm drawing here can't quite compare to what you'd see in a Marvel or DC book. So I'd love to. Don't think I quite have the skill. Josiah says he had a point, and I think you might be talking about, like, Killmonger. And he did. He did have a point. And, I mean, I think that Black Panther ultimately sort of agreed partially with his point because of the decisions he makes at the end of the movie. I won't spoil anything. Anyway, Milo says, I don't understand why people don't like Die Another Day. I love it, maybe for nostalgic reasons, because it's the first one I saw. Well, sure, if it's the first James Bond movie you saw, I don't blame you for liking it. I like all the James Bond movies, just to be clear, because I'm a big fan of the James Bond movies. But I would put Die Another Day at the bottom of my James Bond list. Like, I don't know if it's the bottom, like, but, like, maybe bottom 4 or 5, unfortunately. Like, out of 22, 23 movies, I don't know. You know, but I still have watched it a bunch of times. So, you know, I like James Bond, even when I don't think that they're as good as other ones. There's certain things I guess I like out of a James Bond movie. And one of those is, like, a bunch of sort of real type of stunts, and Die Another Day had, like, lots of digital stuff and not even very good digital stuff, so That was sort of where that one got away from me. I don't mind over-the-top stuff in James Bond or sci-fi even, but I did feel like a lot of the stunts were really just sort of like CG things of like, surfing and, car stuff, invisible cars. It just wasn't what I like the most out of James Bond. Who was my favorite Bond? Might be Daniel Craig. It's really close between Sean Connery and Daniel Craig. I think I like Sean Connery's take a little bit more, but the Daniel Craig's 4 movies overall are a little stronger than like the 6 that Connery did. I'm talking about official Bond movies. For young me, the effects blew my mind. Yeah, I guess we're all less critical when we're younger, though. So, but I get it. I do. At some point, you should like go back and see if like you can watch it like with more objectivity and see if it truly holds up to your memories. But that can always be hard when you see something that you enjoy on like a nostalgic level. That's really hard to overcome. Yeah, and there are lots of movies like that I saw when I was young, like that I can. I don't know. I mean, there are movies like that I saw very young, that I saw a bunch of times when I was young, and it blew my mind. Like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Empire Strikes Back, The Goonies. That one probably doesn't belong in the same tier. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And because I saw them when I was young, like they do give me, a certain reaction every time I see them. I think most of those are still pretty well reviewed. Maybe not the Goonies as much. Well, definitely not the Goonies as much. But it's a matter of sort of when you see it. I think if I saw the Goonies today for the first time, I probably wouldn't be as impressed. I think I'd still like Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Raiders of the Lost Ark a lot. Okay, Josiah says it's a great movie too. That's Goonies. Let's see. Milosh says, I watched it quite recently, had a blast with my roommate. We died laughing. It was so conceptually ridiculous. I didn't take the movie so seriously. Are you talking about Die Another Day or the Goonies? Just curious. Anyway, I think I'm getting close to wrapping this concept up because I wasn't 100% sure what this was going to be. It's okay. I don't love it. Oh, hello, Chrissy. Thank you. Kids today love Goonies. Do they? Oh, and Milos is talking about Die Another Day. Yeah, it's definitely the most over-the-top idea out of James Bond. Like the fact that people are like changing their DNA to look like different races, and on top of that, there are invisible cars and space lasers. I mean, it is easily the most sci-fi Bond ever got, and that is saying a little something. But that's okay. Like I say, I did get a big kick out of it when I first saw it, and I'll rewatch it because I love James Bond. So. Oh, darn it, I keep forgetting to center stuff. Who's your favorite Peter Parker in the movies? Asks Brendan Sellers. To me, it's Tobey Maguire. I think Tom Holland is awesome, but Tobey Maguire is kind of like the Christopher Reeve of Spider-Man. I think I agree. I think Tom Holland has received a characterization that is closer to the idea of Peter Parker that I do like, where he's in high school, he's a wisecracking guy when he's Superman. He does have, all his problems as Peter Parker. But I think Tobey Maguire just somehow emoted just a little bit more. I totally believed him as, like, a nerd. And, movies have come forward in terms of, like, what they can do with special effects and stuff. But especially those first two movies, I think Sam Raimi just knocked it out of the park. And I even like the third one in terms of how it brings the story home and brings a lot of stuff to a conclusion. It has a few too many coincidences for me to absolutely love the third one, but I don't hate it the same way a lot of people do. So, let's see. I like my movies kind of nonsensical. For example, I like Superman 3 the most. That's for Milos. Wow. I think Superman 3 might have been the first one I saw. And I was like, what is this? Yeah. Okay, I imagined Cable having sort of suspenders with ammo, but I can't think of a way to actually, like, really represent that without some weird cheats, because Deadpool's legs are in the way. So that's not going to happen. Yeah, okay. Oh well. I'll just put one little line there. That's for me. You know what I'm going to do? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue this patterning. This sort of belt patterning. And it's really just for me. Okay. What else? Maybe just a couple, like, sort of wrinkles for old Cable here, right? I might be done, folks. For the most part, I feel okay about this. Maybe not my best, but I also didn't, like, really start from much of a detailed starting place. I was oh, excuse me, I know what I haven't even bothered to draw Cable's wacky gun yet. All right, I'll draw that at least. Let's see. Here's his arm. Milosh asks if I play any card games. Not these days, but that's mostly just because I don't have, like, a buddy that does. In the past, I've played plenty of poker, and at one point I played a bunch of Magic the Gathering. I had a friend at work who taught me how, and we played, like, almost every lunch break. We would get together and play that. That was a lot of fun. I liked that. I'm trying to think if there's any other card games. No, that's about it, I guess. Just, yeah, just poker and Magic the Gathering are the only games I really know how to play with cards. I'm trying to think if there's any other big card games out there. What do people play? Like, what do people play their card games. I don't know. I can't think of any. Where's my ruler? Where? There it is. There you are. You tried to get away, ruler, but I knew where you were. No more questions. 9 folks here. Cookie Medicine. Hey there, just getting home from work. Happy to see you streaming. Well, thank you for dropping in. Appreciate it. Gonna bust out a brush for a minute. Brendan says, I love the pockets on Cable's legs. Liefeld would be proud. All you're missing is the big-ass hairdryer gun. Yeah, I'm working on that right now. Just saw that you were on. This is Miles Durkee. What's Cable doing to Deadpool? Cable's not really doing anything so much as Deadpool has, in this shot, jumped forward, crotch first, wrapped his legs around Cable's head, and he's going to try to do sort of a Hurricane Rana where he, drops his body and tries to flip Cable. That's what I'm envisioning here is Deadpool being a little acrobatic and just sort of diving crotch first into attacking Cable. Feels kind of like a thing he might try to do. And maybe before I'm done, I'll have Deadpool shout. You know what? I know what I'm going to have him shout. Alright, not a perfect balloon or anything, but he's shouting, "Tain't misbehaving!" Yeah, here, since I'm almost done, I'm going to back up and we'll see what's going on here. Yeah, that's a little better, right? Yeah, maybe I can back off even more. My pouches have pouches, my belts have belts. That's exactly right. And I think I probably could have pushed that even more, couldn't I? All right, that's as much as I can back up, so. Hopefully that makes sense. You need a drum roll. Taint misbehaving. Yeah, that's what I wrote. Thank you to everyone that made this a nice place to visit for an hour or so. Well, happy to have you. Saving all my Gus for you, says Cookie Madison. I was having trouble reading the image. Got it now. Wacky. Yeah, he, I don't know. So, like, Cable's just standing there, and I imagine Deadpool has just sort of, like, jumped up. You know, like, I'm just showing this in one image, so there's no multiple panels to express it. But, like, yeah, I imagine he's just sort of jumped onto his shoulders, and he's going to drop his body weight and try to flip Cable. That's what I imagine him doing. I hope that makes some sense. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe, baby. Good enough for the girls I go out with. It makes sense. Thank you. Oh, saving all my guns for you. It was what Cookie meant to say. Gotcha. Thank you. I was a little confused. I was like, maybe that's some sort of a local reference that I don't get. I'm almost done. I don't know where this is going, but that's okay. I'm just gonna keep on drawing, keep on talking, Keep on talking to you. I know I could practice my world famous impressions if anybody wants to shout out a well-known celebrity. As long as I know the person, I can nail it. As long as I know it. There's no one I can't perfectly imitate. Let's see. Are you ready for the land? Oh, are you ready for your trip to the land of the rising sun? Asks Miles Durkee. I think so. You know what? There's still a little bit more that I need to do. I'm still sort of writing the scripts for the 2 episodes that I'm going to record over there of Comic Tropes. You know, I know what I'm covering. I've done my research. I've started the scripts, but I haven't quite finished. But I've blocked out, you know, what I'm going to do each day and, you know, how we're getting around and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm mostly ready. It's pretty soon. It's 8 days. 8 days until I leave for Japan and Hong Kong. So that should be fun. I'm very excited. I know I'll have a wonderful time. Big fan of both places. So, thanks for asking. Yeah, almost ready. Almost. Bet it's going to go by so fast. Alright, there's some sort of weird futuristic gun. I imagine it has 2 barrels and some sort of a grenade launcher piece here. So, yeah. William Shatner at a Whole Foods for the first time. Oh, you want that as an impression? Where do you keep gluten-free food? There. I'm William Shatner. All right, I didn't even try on that one. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Where do you keep gluten-free vegetables? That's not a thing, Mr. Shatner. I understand. All right, all that's left to do is sign it. Done. Donezo. You know what I could do? It didn't come out quite like I'd hoped, but you know the underlying structure is pretty good, but I guess not. You know, I've never tried to draw these characters before, so like a lot of their sort of belt buckles and patterns and pouches and stuff sort of elude me a little bit. I think if I were to try it again, that I would probably be able to do a lot better now, in that this is just sort of the result of really never having illustrated these characters before or kept, you know, some sort of a reference right here beside me. I looked at a couple pictures while I was having dinner and then just did my best to sort of remember. But I think I've got a couple ideas on what I would do to approach this in the future. I think, like, you know, I would memorize Deadpool's sort of patterning. I would probably, if I was drawing this again, twist him even a little bit more one way or the other, just so that he doesn't look as thick in the midsection, because he's curling up his abs, but he's also twisted in such a way. And I don't necessarily think that this is wrong, but I don't think it looks as good as it could. I think I could have made him look a lot more interesting. So I would do that a little differently. I would sort of pull down this head just a little bit more, I think. There's a few things I would do differently. I would, instead of like putting these sort of like ammo clips across Cable's midsection, I probably would have just like left that like his stomach and maybe like shown some definition through a t-shirt and then like had like a bandolier here. I think that might have looked cool. It's not bad. It's just, you know, there's definitely several things that I would approach a little differently if I were starting over from scratch. But, you know, I'm not surprised. I'm not, like, ashamed of this because I didn't really know what it would look like going in. Trying to draw something sort of for the first time. And so, you know, the results are okay. Not perfect, not really what I want, but yeah. Tain't misbehaving. Womp. And I think that he would successfully be able to drop Cable here. That's what I think. All right, thanks. Nice small group. It was fun chatting with everybody tonight, and who knows, maybe I'll try to draw these guys a little better sometime in the near future. If I've got some time before I leave on my trip, I really would love to do some more live streaming. So yeah, you know, just hit me up. See this name above? Let's see. What can I do to if I put this there? Yeah. This is previous sort of proof of concept. I've got drawings all over the place now in this room. Up there, this is my Instagram and Twitter, so if you have a good idea for something that you think I should try to draw, go ahead and hit me up on that, and maybe I'll try to do another one of these and try to do a better job, because I feel like this is okay, but I do feel like I could definitely do a lot better. I feel like, yeah, I should have done better. You guys deserve better. But I had fun nevertheless. So, thank you for the company while I practice on improving. Take care. Keep reading comics.